Hey, Disney cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community, where we are here to help you plan, prepare for, and get excited for your Disney cruise. You guys know me. I'm Rebecca, your host and admin of the DCL community. And today we are doing a part two because part one was just so much fun. We were talking all things Alaska, right? And if you missed part one with Kelley, we talked all about her Alaska cruise, but there were still so many questions that came in that we weren't able to get to. So we are doing a live Alaska Q&A today. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. We will do our best to get to them. But as people are coming in, please say hello. Let us know where you're watching from and if you have an Alaska cruise booked. And Kelley, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure, Rebecca. Thanks for having me back on. I'm Kelley Lord. I'm the agency owner for Vacation Ever After. We are a full-service travel agency specializing in cruises. We're a military family, so we do a lot of military family travel, but we can book anybody. And my family was lucky enough to get to experience Alaska on the Disney Wonder this year. We had an amazing time. So I'm very happy to talk about it. I could talk Disney cruises all day long, but especially Alaska.
Oh my gosh. I know it's a bucket list for so many people. And one of my best friends and her family, they're just getting off and they were like, it's worth the hype. It's worth the hype. I mean, I know that some people might see the price and think, oh, compared to Caribbean or Bahamas, but I know no one who's gone and it's not like their number one cruise or their number two cruise ever.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some people joining from Pennsylvania, some fellow Georgians in there, some Floridians, North Carolina, Kentucky. Love that. So hello to everyone. Nobody from Alaska joining, or at least not quite yet, but I'm so excited to be getting into all these questions. And like I said, if you have them, put them in the comments and we'll do our best to get to them. And it looks like someone is joining who actually met you and your family on the Wonder. So that's super fun.
Yes. We had a great time. We met so many amazing people. And shockingly, a lot of them from Orlando. So that's always fun to travel to the other side of the continent to meet people that live within 10 minutes of you. So right? Yes.
Oh my gosh, such a small world. I love that. I know that you said that you got to enjoy the Wonder. One of the biggest questions that I'm seeing, especially going into next year, is do I do the Magic or the Wonder to Australia? So let's start there.
Well, the Magic or the Wonder are both amazing ships. They're sister ships, so they're almost, they are identical in the layout. The ships themselves are different, have different themings, different shows. You have Tiana's on the Wonder, and then you have Rapunzel's on the Magic. If I had to go just by ship, I love the Magic because I love the shows. My son-in-law used to be main stage on the Magic on Disney Cruise Line. So I'm kind of partial to Twice Charmed, especially, and Tangled the Musical. But I think it really boils down to, you need to ask yourself, what do you want to do in Alaska? What in your mind, when you picture going on an Alaskan cruise, what is that picture in your mind that you have doing? Are you taking a helicopter to go dog sledding? Are you on the White Pass Railroad? Are you whale watching? And then you need to decide once you decide what you want to do in Alaska, you need to look and see which ports offer those excursions. And then you need to look at the ship and the sail date. So the Magic and the Wonder are going to be slightly different itinerary wise. So that is, I think, very important, is you're going to need to look at ports. Since the ships are pretty much identical, you can't really base it on the ship this time. You need to base it on the itinerary as it translates to what you and your family want to do. And that's a very personal question as to what your vision is for Alaska. But both are amazing, and they leave different days of the week. So maybe one is more convenient for your schedule than another. That's another thing to look at.
They're both such great ships. And I know that some new cruisers who maybe they've started on the Wish or they started on the Treasure, they're like, oh, I don't know if I should go on one of the older ships. But let me tell you, right? They're so good. They're so good. There's a reason that the Pearl Disney cruisers of the world, like us, keep going back to these ships. So do not be afraid. And I love what you said about kind of putting the puzzle pieces together. And question for you in your agency, is looking at excursions something that you can help with trying to narrow down which ports I should be going with if I want to do the dog sledding or this or that, the other thing? Can your agency help with that?
100%. In fact, that's one of the first things we're going to talk to you about when you contact us for an Alaska cruise, is we're going to find out what you want to do in Alaska and make sure that we find the itinerary and the schedule that works best for you and your family. And that is something we can offer, personal experience with the different excursions. There are different things depending on the age range of the people in your party, the accessibility of the people in your party. That's all very important. And it's where a travel agent can really help you narrow down. This is a very expensive trip, and it's something you want to get the most out of. So you want to do the right itinerary, the right ship, the right schedule.
Oh my gosh, such great points. And I know we've been talking a little bit about the excursions or the port adventures, as Disney likes to call them. How are the Alaska port adventures? Is there a lot of variety compared to the Bahamas? Are there enough options to keep people busy?
Yes, definitely. And I would say you have more of a variety in Alaska than you really do in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. It's such a unique terrain and experience. You can go whale watching, you can watch bears, you can go look at the Raptor Center if you're going to Sitka. You can take the White Pass Railroad, the train, you can go to a lumberjack show. There are so many different activities that you can do in Alaska that you're not necessarily going to be able to do in the Bahamas or Caribbean. Bahamas and Caribbean are warm weather, so it's going to be a different type of excursion, usually water-based activities, sun, beach, things like that. Alaska is the scenery in Alaska is just unlike anywhere else in the world, and that is something that you really want to take the excursions that show you the best of Alaska. So that is absolutely just as many or more excursions than Bahamas or Caribbean.
I was going to say there's so many, snorkeling and so many stingray, and all those are great. And the beach getaways are great, but those beaches aren't going anywhere. They're still going to be there. You're still going to have the, crystal clear blue waters, but getting to see some of these things in Alaska, especially the nature. Oh my goodness. So good. And that looks like Ross is saying his number one suggestion in Juneau is to do Glacier Park shuttle on your own, so you have more time to walk the trails. So that is a good tip for anyone who wants to do that one. I know there's so many options. And again, I haven't heard anything bad about any excursions. So Disney's onto something when it comes. Right. They're just so good. And then somebody asked, does Disney have any land and sea options in Alaska?
Not a traditional land and sea. They do offer pre and post cruise hotel stays at their preferred resorts in Vancouver, but they don't necessarily do a land and sea package like we think about. They used to do a land and sea out of Port Canaveral, where you could spend a few days at Walt Disney World and then get on the ship in Port Canaveral. They don't offer anything like that, but they can package in your hotel stay in Vancouver with one of their preferred resorts. They will have a room block so that you will have their guaranteed rate at the hotel. It might necessarily be, the hotel you want to stay in, but it is always a very nice hotel. If you're looking for something more budget friendly, there are plenty of options in Vancouver for different price ranges.
I love that. And somebody's asking, Julie's asking, did you stay at a Disney hotel? But your family didn't, right?
We did not. We stayed at the Hampton Inn over near the stadium, which was fun. There was some giant event going on at the stadium, so everybody was very festive and excited, and so we stayed there. I think we had some Hilton points to use, or got a military rate. We had a great experience there. We walked to some delicious restaurants that were safe for our food allergies. We're a food allergy family, so we got to experience a little bit of Vancouver, and we were 5-10 minutes from the port, not far at all. Yes,
so easy. Mm-hmm. And Cassie is asking if Disney does transfers like they do in Florida.
They do. They do offer the transfers. So it depends on where you're coming from. From the airport, their preferred hotel is right at the port, so there's not a transfer option there. You're already there. But they do have an expedited luggage service that will handle your luggage for you from the hotel, which is very convenient.
Yes. Oh, so many good options. Definitely good things to talk through with Kelley and her team. Mm-hmm. And then, the next question was about the pre-cruise stay hotels in Vancouver. So I know you mentioned you stayed at the Hampton Inn. There's the one at the port where you can see the ship.
Right. There's the Pan Pacific is right there. The Fairmont's close by. There's a Sheraton not too far away, a Hyatt not too far away. If you want something more budget-minded, the Hampton Inn was nice. There's a Residence Inn not too far from the port. So there's definitely a variety of hotels. Vancouver is a very big city. It's very scenic. It's very walkable. There's a lot of shops and restaurants. So it depends on what you want to do. We arrived not, early afternoon. So we didn't have a lot of time in Vancouver before the cruise, but plenty of time to walk around a little bit, go into the shops, and have a very delicious dinner.
Yes. Oh, I've heard so many people say that they wish they had extra time in
Yes.
Vancouver. And
Yes.
yeah, I've heard so many great things about that city. This is so on my bucket list. And it looks like Airbnb has some good options there as well. So just lots of options for stays, depending on what your budget is, timing,
Right.
how close you want to be to the port. And then are there any must-pack items that you would recommend?
Alaska being a different climate, as Floridians, we were very concerned about what to pack because we don't have cold weather gear down here. When we moved here from, Maryland and Georgia and our last duty stations, we got rid of a lot of our heavy winter clothes. So the best thing I can tell you is to pack in layers instead of a big bulky coat. You definitely want a waterproof outer layer. So a waterproof coat. And depending on the excursion you're going on, you might need waterproof shoes. So if you're going to walk on a glacier, anything where your feet will be touching snow, absolutely you're going to need waterproof shoes. But layers are key. The temperature changes. We had a very mild week when we were in Alaska, and we didn't have much rain at all. A little bit of rain on our glacier day in the evening, but we lucked out, and our serving team kept telling us all week how lucky we were because the weather the week before was rainy. So I would absolutely bring a very good raincoat, a waterproof, not water resistant, but waterproof outer shell. And then maybe, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, comfortable long pants, comfortable walking shoes. I saw some people recommend wool socks. And again, it depends on what you're going to do. If you're going to be going to the excursions where you're walking on the glacier, your feet are going to get cold. So those wool socks definitely would be very handy. An umbrella, whether it's raining or to shield you, from the sun. The number one thing that I really am glad that I brought were my polarized sunglasses, because with the water and even the snow, polarized sunglasses, and a lot of Floridians have those anyway, just because we had so much, sun and rain here. But that is something, and you can pick up a pair. They're not that expensive. But that's something that I'm glad that I brought. Binoculars, we were able to use those on the ship to look at, watch eagles fly by and look at the sea lions floating past us, on the pieces of ice. Get up close with the binoculars.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh my gosh. And I know you can easily get those things. I'm a big fan of the polarized sunglasses as well. My better half is big into fishing. So we're always out on the water, and having those, especially when you're on the water, I'm telling you, so good. Those are great tips. And yes, lots of layers. Being from Chicago, I know I've got like my winter coat and then my winter coat. And you just got to be prepared. Because you never know what Mother Nature's going to throw at you. Even in the Bahamas. I remember last year we were sailing in August, and when we were at Castaway, a cold storm came in and like chilled the water down. We were cold in August at Castaway. It was brief, but it happened.
Yes. And gloves, gloves where you can, we're all on our phone all the time taking pictures. So you want the gloves where you can touch the screen on your phone and be able to navigate your phone. So they make those, the tech gloves that have the fingertips. Those were very handy as well. And on our glacier day, we did wear our stocking caps. So they do sell some on the ship. Those do tend to sell out. So if you want one on the ship, I would go the first night and get one. But you can always bring one from home just to make sure you have one. My son needed a scarf. I did not, but that's just he felt more comfortable with a scarf. He's his whole Florida blood.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was going to say fun souvenir to have. Better to pack all that stuff, especially if you're from the north and you already have it. You don't need 18 more. And then Holly is asking, were you able to use US dollars easily in Vancouver for food, etc., or is it better to get Canadian money?
We paid with Apple Pay or with credit card, And this, I believe one of the shops we were in gave us the option of paying in US or Canadian. So with the exchange rate in Canada right now, it's always challenging to know what is the better currency to use. If you have a credit card that doesn't charge you a fee, I would recommend putting on a credit card. If you have the ability to get, depends on how much money you're going to spend in Canada. If you have the ability to get some Canadian currency in advance, by all means, go ahead and do that. But of course, in Alaska, you're in a U.S. territory, so U.S. dollars are definitely preferred.
Yes, that works. And then are there any port adventures that are budget friendly? I guess this person was worried some of the sticker shock that comes with like the helicopter tours and some of those big ticket items. So did you notice on your cruise, were there any more cost efficient, especially for those bigger families, port adventure options?
You can spend quite a bit you can spend as much on excursions almost as you spend on a cruise. Especially the helicopter ones, those are very expensive. We opted for, we did what we call the Best of Ketchikan, which I thought was very budget friendly. It took us to 3 stops. We went to the Totem Bite State Park. Then we went to a salmon bake where we actually got to see whales outside while we were eating salmon. And then we went to the lumberjack show. You could just do the lumberjack show if you wanted. A lot of the ports have shuttles to the different sites. I believe it was in Juneau, had several different booths set up at one of the port areas where you could hire the local guides to take you to different places. And those were definitely less expensive than booking the onboard ship excursions. The main thing you want to realize, though, is you need to make sure that you're back in plenty of time to get on the ship if you do something with an outside company. But just the lumberjack show, White Pass Railroad, there are definitely options that are more budget friendly. You do not have to spend $900 a person to ride a helicopter to enjoy Alaska. We did not do the helicopter tour. We had an amazing time. And I feel like that the excursions that we chose were more on the budget side than some of the others. But again, it's about what your family wants to do. If that helicopter ride to the glacier is the bucket list thing that you want to do, then maybe you want to opt for a less expensive cabin on the ship so that you can afford, so that your budget includes the cost of the excursions. So there are ways to make it work. You see plenty of Alaska.
Yeah, especially when you have, bigger families. Like I know the next question is about, would Alaska be a good fit for multi-generational trips, especially with grandparents and potential mobility concerns? So I know that there's a lot of pieces, and budgeting for one of these can feel daunting, but that's why Kelley and her team, right? Kelley's a mom. She gets what it's like coordinating with a bunch of different interests, and, just budgets in general as a parent, it's hard. So her team can help you with that too. But do you think Alaska would be a good fit for a multi-generational trip?
Definitely. It's such a bucket list destination. We see a lot of multi-generational families going because the grandparents want to go and they want to take their children and then their grandchildren, and they make it this big, amazing family experience. There are all kinds of activities that you can do together. You can even split up. So if some of the more adventurous ones want to do the helicopter and the other ones want to do, the whale watching, you can absolutely split up, and then you meet back up and you compare notes at dinner and talk about your day and what you got to see. But that's one thing you do need to look at, is the accessibility and the age limit. A lot of excursions in Alaska, if you look at the age limit, it's 5 and up. Some things are 14 and up. Some things are, any age. You just really have to know, what you want to do. And then you look at and see what is available for the age limits and the accessibility limits of your particular family.
Yes. Oh, so true. And I know that the frustration that I can just hear in some people's voices when they're, putting in the group, oh, I didn't realize my 2-year-old couldn't come with on this. What am I supposed to do? I don't want to hang behind. And, you can see some of that ahead of time. Kelley and her team can help show you those age breakdowns, but you can also always look at private options too. Maybe there's a private option that'll get you back plenty of time before the ship leaves. So there are workarounds, but Kelley and her team will have those connections. And then I know we were talking about different ages there, and like the biggest thing for any kid, right, is swimming.
Yes.
And all parents want to know, are the pools heated? Do I need to bring bathing suits? Like, is it even warm enough to swim?
Well, children seem to tolerate water that's much colder than adults. So
Yes, so
there were
true.
definitely children in the pool on our Glacier Day when everybody around them was all bundled up in their hats and scarves and their big heavy jacket. And there were kids in the swimming pool. And the lifeguards are all bundled up from head to toe watching the kids swim. The pools are heated, but not to bathwater temperature by any means, just enough to maybe knock the chill off. But they had, the kids would jump in the pool and they seem to be having the time of their life. So if they want to swim, the pools are open, the hot tubs were open. There were towels on the deck right next to the blankets on the deck. So if you wanted to go swimming and wrap up in a towel, or if you wanted to sit there and bundle up in your blanket and watch the kids swim, but all of the kids that were swimming were having a great time. So if they want to swim, they can definitely swim.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know. It seems like kids are just immune. They see a swimming pool and
Yes.
somehow their internal body temperature just tolerates whatever the temperature of the water is.
Mhm.
But yes, parents, I would definitely say have those towels and blankets ready when they get
Yes,
out because they're going to be cold once they're not in the water.
they
And
are.
you mentioned the blankets. Are those available all the time on deck? Is it just the pool deck or is it a deck 4 as well?
We saw some on both. So I guess it depends on, how they're stocking them at the time, but I don't remember not seeing blankets out especially on the top deck. Now we didn't have funnel vision going during the cruise. So it's not like you're going to bundle up and watch a movie up there. So especially when you're going
Interesting.
through the inside passage, they're not playing funnel vision. So that is a little bit different on Alaska. So you can sit out there and watch the scenery go by, but you're not going to have the late night movies like you do on the Caribbean itineraries.
Man, I don't think I realized that. I learned something new every time we talk. That is good to know. I definitely did not know that one. And then we have a question about Princess. I'm not sure how familiar
Yeah, we
you
go to
are. Okay,
Princess.
awesome. So my aunt sailed Princess to Alaska, and their route included sailing through Glacier Bay. I noticed the Disney itineraries don't include that location.
Yeah.
How does the glacier viewing compare to that, or kind of differ from it? I know that a port, if you will, it seems to be important for a lot of people.
Mhm.
But did you miss it? How is it? How would you compare it for cruisers?
A lot of people consider Glacier Bay the best of Alaska. But Glacier Bay is very controlled and they're very strict about how many ships a day can go in. And the cruise lines have to have permission to go in. So far, Disney Cruise Line hasn't been able to obtain the permission, not because they're not worthy or anything. It's just that it's full currently. There's no openings. And Princess kind of has a lock on Alaska. They really do. The Princess does a great itinerary that goes from Vancouver to Whittier. It's a one-way sailing, and then you can do the reverse Whittier back to Vancouver, and that's called Voyage of the Glaciers. We do sell a good bit of Princess Alaska, and that is a very popular, especially with the older generation. That Princess is very popular with them. We actually have a group going on Princess next year. If anybody was interested in a group sailing.
Yeah.
But Glacier Bay is beautiful. I don't feel like we really missed out by being on Disney because we had things that only Disney offers that I think kind of rounded it out. And especially when you have children, nobody does it like Disney. So nobody's going to have the characters in their cute character costumes. Nobody's going to have the Broadway style shows like Disney does. So again, it's one of those things where you want to decide what's important to you in Alaska. So if Glacier Bay is important to you in Alaska, then you need to look at a different cruise line besides Disney. And I would definitely go to Princess next. If Glacier Bay was your top choice, then Princess would be the first place I would look. But I don't feel like we missed out on Alaska by not going to Glacier Bay. We were the only ship, that went through the area that we saw our glacier. So I feel like that was a very beautiful and scenic Alaska experience as well.
Oh, I love that. And it's so cool that you have so much Princess experience too, so you can
Yes.
help compare. Because we have this question coming in. I'm not sure if it's Craig or Shannon or maybe both asking. But 20th anniversary is coming up. They've only done Disney cruises, but Disney cruises to Alaska are definitely an investment.
Yes.
Do you have any ideas on how to either make Disney more affordable, or do you have another cruise line that you would recommend for Alaska? Maybe it is Princess.
Well, happy anniversary, first of all.
Yes.
That's a huge milestone. Congratulations. It depends on what you want to do in Alaska. If you are diehard Disney fans and you're going to be sad when your ship pulls up next to the Magic or the Wonder, then you might want to do you might want to stick with Disney. If you're going just for purely the scenery of Alaska and you want to see Glacier Bay and you want to do the one-way trip, then definitely look at Princess. Holland America actually has some great itineraries as well. They're owned by the same company as Princess. That's actually all part of the Carnival Corporation. But Holland America is trying to get into the younger, appeal to younger travelers. They've been traditionally known as an older generation cruise line, and they're coming up with all kinds of new entertainment and things to appeal to the younger generation. So if Disney is just kind of a little bit out of the budget, Princess is great with that itinerary, the one-way itinerary. Holland America, Royal Caribbean does a really nice Alaska itinerary. If you need to go out of Seattle, I hear that a lot. People that don't want to go to Vancouver, or they want to sail without a passport, they want to go to, out of Seattle, then Royal Caribbean would be probably one of our something we would look at out of Seattle. They do a nice round trip there.
Man, lots of options. So I would say definitely reach out to Kelley, shoot her an email, and get on her calendar, her team's calendar for sometime over the next week or so. Start planning, because
Yes,
I don't think I realize how many options there are to do Alaska. So that's awesome. We have a big old thank you for that. So that is fantastic. Let's see. How was the seasickness?
we had pretty smooth seas. It was maybe a little rocky our first night coming out of Vancouver, but not too bad. I've had much. The roughest seas I've been on was a transatlantic, and that was during a hurricane. So anything under that doesn't really bother me. But we didn't have an issue with rocky seas at all. It's not even as bad as coming out of Port Canaveral and going through the Gulf Stream that first night on any of the ships coming out of Canaveral going to the Bahamas. So we had some smooth seas, but it's weather related, it's wind related. So it can change at any point. So just because I had smooth seas, the very next week might have had rough seas. So bring your seasick meds if you think you're going to have an issue. That's always preferred.
Yes, definitely better to be prepared. And somebody's asking, can you see land the whole time? Is it like a river cruise?
We saw land pretty much every time I looked out the window. I did a lot of fun time-lapse videos where I'd set my camera up and leave it out on the balcony, like when we go to dinner, because it doesn't get dark until like 11 o'clock at night. So we were able to get some really cool time-lapse videos of just the coastline going by. But depending on the side of the ship you're on, yes, you're going to see land, or you can go up to the top deck and see land. Pretty much the entire cruise. I mean,
that's so cool. Oh my gosh, Alaska seems awesome. And speaking of great views, I know last time we shared some pictures of your private photo session, which was just, if you guys missed these pictures, you got to go back and look at them. They are breathtaking. And someone was asking how much the private photo session was.
So I looked back at my notes because I couldn't remember. It actually was cheaper to do the Alaska photo session than our Castaway Key or our Lookout Key photo sessions. Wow. And they told us, because we had the same photographer in Alaska that we did on Castaway, she actually told us that they had just lowered the price. So we were thrilled that we paid the higher price on the other one. But so I look back, and if you wanted 10 pictures, it was $500. But if you wanted all of your pictures, it was only $750. Now, that's the price it was on the June 2nd, 2025 Disney Wonder sailing. I don't know that is still the same price or if they have adjusted it. I did see on the DCL community page that somebody had posted a screenshot from. They're now charging for the Castaway Key photo sessions. They were charging $275 for that. When we went in May, they did not charge for the photo session. You only paid for the pictures, but we paid a couple $1,000 for our pictures on Castaway. So they were much more than what we paid in Alaska. So I think they're still playing with prices. So don't hold them to the prices that I paid in June. Check when you
Yeah.
get on board to see what the prices are.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's such a cool experience, such cool backdrops. I mean, you could easily do family Christmas card, holiday photos. I've
Yes.
seen the pregnancy announcements. I've seen proposals, right? Like there's so many
Mhm.
cool things you can do in these locations. Your son had his graduation pictures,
Yes,
which
he did.
were
In Castaway.
awesome.
So he grew
Oh,
up on the ship, so he we thought that was quite fitting for him to do his graduation photos on Castaway Key. So
oh my gosh. I'm just jealous. I didn't think of it, a million years ago when I was
do it now.
graduating.
Do it
Oh
now.
my, could you imagine? I show up and I'm just like a little throwback. Oh my gosh.
No
That's
judgments. I mean, everybody would be cheering you on. So, and
Oh my
exactly.
God. So Disney cruisers are so supportive. And let's see, what days are the characters in their Glacier Day outfits? Is it just Glacier Day?
No, it's only outside on Glacier Day, but they do meet in their Glacier Day outfits, or their Alaska outfits inside the ship on other days as well. The first time that we saw them in those outfits was outside on Glacier Day. And I would urge you to get up early and get in line for the first set for those character photos, because the lines later in the day get very, very long. But probably the ones that are watching it, but our friends that we met in line waiting for characters had told us that they had come in and done the first set with some other characters, and they just waited maybe 15 minutes at most. So
Oh,
those first 8 o'clock in the morning sessions, those are the least crowded. So make that a priority to do if you want to see the characters in their costumes.
love that. Oh my gosh, yes, because some of those afternoon wait times, you said it was close to an
Yeah,
hour, right?
we waited an hour for one of them, but yeah, we
Yeah. And I don't know anything about the park, so forgive me. This is a me question. How do those compare to park wait times? Is that like a normal amount of time to wait to be at a character, or are character wait times pretty short at the parks?
for a special event like a Halloween party, if the characters are in a specialty outfit, yes, you can wait very long times. If it's just a normal day of meeting Mickey in his traditional outfit, then no, you're not going to wait nearly that amount of time. And then in the parks, depending on where they're meeting, if they're meeting indoors, there may be some magical opportunities, where they can make the line shorter, but they can't do that when you're outside. So you have limited opportunities to see those characters in those outfits. And if it starts to rain, they will move them. They will move them indoors. So if you have the opportunity to meet them outside with the beautiful scenery, that is the picture that you want.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And it's just for that single Glacier Day that they're out on deck in those
Yes.
outfits. So if Mother Nature has other things planned, don't get mad at Disney. They can't control the weather. And then how many photos did the package include that you got? How many pictures did you get?
Oh, I have to look. It was more than 10 because we paid the $750 price. The photographer was great, though. She took, I want to say maybe 30 to 40 pictures that we got. She went through and it's not just they take the pictures, you get them, they edited them. So if you had like a stray hair that blew by your face, they can Photoshop that out. If you maybe had, some acne or something on your forehead, they can airbrush that out. So they really go through and put their touch on each picture and make sure that everything is perfect. So it's not just the photographer snapping the picture and then you get it. They actually go through and edit them and touch them up, make the color, enhance the lighting or whatever they need to do to make the colors more vibrant.
Oh my goodness. So you're getting the private photo session and the pictures and edited pictures on that. That is so great.
Yes.
And then are there any different amenities compared to Bahamian cruises?
For anybody or for Concierge?
For both, somebody asked about concierge perks too. So let's talk about it all. Anything that's different from your kind of normal Disney cruise, if you will.
Well, Alaska, they're going to have. They had a naturalist come on board to talk about different things in Alaska. They brought a piece of glacier ice onto the pool deck. You could go and touch the glacier ice and get a picture with it. So things that are unique to the location. Absolutely. They'll have themed trivias. They'll have Alaska trivia, lumberjack trivia, or something like that. That will be, themed after that. Whereas if you're in the Bahamas, they might have Castaway Key trivia.
Yes.
they definitely will probably cultivate the activities around the location that you're in.
Yeah.
So that is, that is unique. And of course, the character outfits, those are probably the most popular things that people go.
Yes.
Merchandise is,
Ooh.
yes. Oh, where's my Mickey and Minnie? So I couldn't reach my Mickey and Minnie last time, but this is Minnie in her little
So stinking cute.
outfit, and she is just adorable. And there is a matching jacket that you can purchase in the gift shop if you want to
Oh
look
my
like Minnie
gosh.
Mouse. Then
Take all my money. Take it all.
yeah, this is the Mickey. So he is
cute.
adorable. I actually have a friend who dressed up like Mickey in this outfit and had her picture made. So
cute.
aren't they just
Those are adorable.
budget for souvenirs because you are going to spend money on them.
Yes.
I mean, how can you resist this?
So cute. So cute. Those outfits just take the perfection over the top. I know I've seen like of course, the blankets like we were talking about on deck, and even the, I think it's like a hot chocolate cart that they come around with that you can, make your beverages adult if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Disney just does Alaska right. Oh my gosh.
They do.
Oh.
And they have a special cup that's only available on the hot chocolate cart, and that has the Northern Lights and everything on it. So if you collect the cups like I do, then you have to, I don't have the cup with me, but you definitely need to get that cup. And then they'll have like the specialty, like the Tervis cups. They'll have all the popcorn buckets that they have in the park as well. If you're a popcorn bucket collector and you can't find your popcorn bucket in the park, go on a cruise. They usually have them there. You don't have to do an Alaska cruise for that, but
yes, they usually have a selection of them. I know those popcorn buckets are so popular, and I'm like, I don't know how people fit these in their suitcases on the way home. I have no space going there.
We shipped items home from Juneau, and we learned that you have to get permission to do that. You have to get permission to bring things off the ship, because we tried to do that in Skagway and were stopped. We were going to ship our souvenirs home because we went from Vancouver down to California to Disneyland for the 70th. And so we were going to mail our souvenirs home. So we go walking off the ship in Skagway with our duffel bags full of our souvenirs, and we were stopped and said, no, you can't do that. You have to go through customs, and it has to be arranged in advance. So lesson that we learned, if you want to use the post office, you want to use it in Juneau. That's the largest one. And you need to get permission in advance, meaning more than the day before. So the day before, you need to let them know that you're going to be taking items off the ship to ship home. They will take you over to customs, and you'll go through customs, and then you can then go to the post office in Juneau. Yes. So that was an adventure that we had to quickly get that done before our dog sledding excursion that day.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm learning so many new things. So who did you have to get approval from? Like, do you just go to guest services?
Go to guest services, and they will put you in touch with the correct officer to do that with. And it's not a problem, but you just have to let them know in advance. And we did not know.
Yeah. So we're learning new things. And Gianna is asking, did you see the Northern Lights?
We did. So cool. We have been lucky to see them on 2 different Disney cruises. We saw them on our way to Iceland on the last Iceland cruise that Disney Cruise Line did. And then we also saw them on the Alaska cruise. And it was our first night out of Vancouver. It was the solar storm that was happening, so it made them visible that far south. So cool. And because we were going through that inside passage area, there are no lights anywhere. No lights on the land, so it was nice and dark, and we were able to see them. And because we had seen them in Iceland, we knew what to look for. They look like wisps in the air. If you just look at them with your naked eye, but as soon as you hold your phone up and take a picture, it glows green. So you know what you're seeing. So
cool. Yes. Man, it feels like magic. That is awesome.
It is.
And speaking of some of those great views, is it in general, I know every cruise can be different, but can you enjoy being out on deck, or is it too cold in general to be out on your veranda or deck 4?
It depends on your tolerance. We're from Florida, so
Yeah.
our tolerance for cold is a little different.
Same.
But no, definitely enjoyable. And it's nice being on your balcony because it blocks the wind a little better. If you're out on deck 4, it's more open, so you're not as protected from the wind. So if you can, if the budget allows you to get a balcony in Alaska, get the balcony. It's worth it. I haven't had anybody come back and say that they were angry that I talked them into the balcony. They'd come back and say it was worth every penny. We spent so much time on our balcony. We usually get an ocean view as our family. That's just what we enjoy. We upgraded to the balcony at the port, which is not always available, so don't count on that. There were only 2 available, and we were able to get one of them. And we lucked out and splurged on the balcony. And within the first few minutes of just Vancouver, watching the seaplanes come in, my husband and I both were like, worth it, worth every penny that we spent on the upgrade to the balcony.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh my gosh. I know that jump from ocean view to balcony can intimidate some people. And, I think you said this last time, if it's a matter of not going or getting a veranda, like
go
get the inside stateroom. You'll still be plenty happy.
Yes.
But yes, it's just, if you have the means to splurge, upgrading the stateroom category.
Do it. And then if you can do concierge, there are some perks for concierge. Not only do you get the early booking window, so you'll get your first choice of excursions if you're concierge and you were able to take advantage of that concierge booking window, but they will also bring one of the characters into the lounge so that you have your special meet and greet with them. They also have used to be the second floor of Cove Cafe. They have that area available for concierge, which you have amazing views and you're inside. So definitely that's on the Wonder. Now the Magic will be different, but you have all of the benefits of concierge and a few little extras for being in Alaska. So, but again, that's a splurge as well. But
yes,
if it's in your budget, you won't regret doing it. But if your budget only allows for the inside cabin, still go. You are still able to see all of the same scenery. You have access to all the same excursions. So don't let that limit you. You can sit out on deck 4. You can go up on the top deck. There are plenty of opportunities for you to see the beauty of Alaska, even if you don't have a balcony or an ocean view window.
Yes. And take it from somebody born and raised in Chicago. You can be outside in freezing cold weather, which not that it necessarily is in Alaska. It's 50s, 60s. Depends on the day.
Yeah, right.
But I could be outside in 17 degrees and the wind blowing a million miles an hour. And as long as you are dressed right, you can be comfortable. So just think about that when you're packing. And then do you know if cast members were doing any pin trading on board?
They were. We have friends that are big pin traders, and they were doing some pin trading on board. So that's actually had a big resurgence lately. I think there's a lot of TikTokers out there that are really bringing pin trading back to popularity. So definitely officer pin trading. They had the pin trading books in the in the gift shops, and a lot of passengers were trading with each other. They're wearing their lanyards and putting their pins on there. So I was glad to see that was making a big comeback. I think after COVID, it kind of died down a little bit. But there's so many great pin packs available now, like the Mystery Ducks. That's probably my favorite one that people are collecting again. So. Yes, pin trade, bring your pins. People put up pin boards in the hallway. If you take one, leave one. So.
Yes. Oh, I am the worst pin trader because I love the pins that I get so much. I never want to let them go. And I'm like, I want to trade you, but I actually want both of them. So then I just end up going to the store and getting both. And then we have too many pins if there's such a thing.
No such thing.
Oh, man. And then this will be the last question. Unless anybody else has any last minute ones, be sure to send them in. But this has been so helpful. But is there anybody who you would not recommend go on an Alaska cruise?
Not really. Grumpy people, because we don't want them on the ship. There's something for everyone of all ages, of all mobility, abilities. There are different excursions that appeal to different people. But even if you're not someone like, if you have a grandpa that wants to go and he doesn't really want to do any excursions, honestly, I think they would be perfectly happy just exploring the port areas and just sitting on, out on deck or on their balcony and experiencing the nature and the views if they didn't want to go out and do any of the more active excursions. But even little ones, there's plenty for them to do, plenty for them to see. And they love the characters. They love the entertainment. There's never a bad time to go on a Disney cruise. So
amen. Oh my gosh.
There are no bad choices with the ships. You pick one and go. They're fun. So.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I was going to say, if you are torn between itineraries, if you're torn between, do I do the magic or do I do the wonder? If you're trying to figure out what to do, please reach out to Kelley and her team. I'm going to pop this up so that it is just on the screen for everybody. But their planning services, I don't think we said this in the beginning, but their planning services are actually free for you to utilize. Yes. So reach out to her, let her team help you plan so that you can focus on just enjoying all that is Alaska. Like I said in the beginning, no one goes on these Alaska cruises and complains about it. Everybody loves it, even if it's cold. Even if it's cold, people love it. Oh my gosh. Would you go back? Would you do it again?
I have two of my good friends are trying to get me to go back with them in September. So they're probably listening and I just can't. But I would go back in a heartbeat. I would go back tomorrow if I could. We're dealing with some house repairs right now. So I'm kind of stuck here right now. So,
oh my gosh, isn't it the worst one? The real world work, home ownership. Yes. I'm like, what do you mean I have to pay for this place that I live in and I can't just go on cruises all the time?
I know. What is that about?
Oh
so, yes, God. I would go back. And actually, I told my husband, next year, I think I'd like to do a magic and a wonder just so we can compare. And then we could spend the few days in between exploring Vancouver because I really felt cheated. I felt we did not get enough time in Vancouver. And it's such a phenomenal city with so much to do that I want to go back. I want to do both ships, research so I can compare. Yes. We can come back and talk about the difference in the magic and the wonder. And I think you need to go too, Rebecca. I think it needs to be,
listen, I love that idea. That sounds like the best research I've ever heard of in my entire life. So count me in. Oh my gosh. And if you are ready to book, yes, seriously. It seems like other people are wanting to join this too.
Yes, so let's all go. Let's all go together. Right? We'll get a group. We'll have a fun group. We'll all do Palo together. We'll have a great time.
Oh my gosh, just rent the ship out. It'll be great. Oh my goodness. Well, if you are ready to book your Disney cruise, please get in touch with Kelley and her team. They are here to help. Kelley, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. This was a blast and a half. Anytime. And we will see all y'all on board real soon. Bye, guys. Yay.